Hi there, welcome to the wonderful world of OBS. This is Open Broadcaster software. It is open source software that you can use to record and make videos, and it's really easy and great and fun, and I encourage you to use it. It works really well live, but it would be for live streaming on YouTube or Facebook, which is great, but it's also really good for just making videos because there's lots of flexibility and you can show a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to show you just an example that I was working on. This is parcel of how this is being demonstrated with this demo of how to add something in OBS. So for starters, I just want to go over a couple things, the ins and outs of this software. It's not as complicated as it may look. There's just a few areas to focus on, and then scenes, sources, audio mixer, transitions, and controls. So the main areas kind of starts on the left hand side. That's where the focus is, and these scenes are basically slides like you would think of a PowerPoint slide, or if you would think of any slide. And so right here I have the cover slide for the presentation for OBS and so if I move to another scene, the scene's going to change. And so if I move to scene 2 to scene 3, now you can set up as many scenes as you want. I don't know how many you can set up, but you can set up a lot. So these are just a few scenes for a presentation. And in each scene, there's sources, and sources is basically just content. So like, for example, on the cover slide here, all it is text. It's just 4 different types of text. As I move over them, you can see them highlight. One for, you can name them anything you want, and so I've just named them very poorly, header, subheader, and text, because I did them at different times. You can lock them in place, you can unlock them, you can make them disappear, you can make them appear as you like. So while you're presenting, you can make things disappear. Now when you're presenting or you're recording, you're not recording this stuff down at the bottom. So if I want to look at studio mode on the right, for example, and click away, on this window on the right hand side, it's showing what is actually being recorded. So all this other gizmo stuff at the bottom is not being recorded. So going back to the left, so there's different things you can add in the sources. So on this slide it's just text, but on this slide I have a number of things in here. I've got a couple live screens, I've got a couple monitors going here. So I have this monitor available, and I also have this monitor available. I also have my video camera here active, which is me talking to my camera here. I have text in here, and I have a couple images, and all these are just in this source box. So you can see them all listed, and you can move them up and down if you want to overlap them or layer them. Like I could take something and move it around. If you wanted to, you can layer. That's kind of cool things. You can also group things, like I have monitor 2 and monitor 3, which is here and here. And then I can turn them on and off individually if I wanted to, show them or not show them. And I could unlock them or lock them, and I can group them. So if I want everything, like more than one thing to disappear at one time, for example, I can group them so that they'll come and go as I like. And so you have total control about what things are coming and going and how you're moving through the scenes. This is just one monitor. This is a monitor, so I can show this monitor. And so I also have this monitor showing too, so I can control that one as well as another option. So I just want to show you really quickly how you can very quickly add a slide. And so if you want to add one, you just hit on the plus on the bottom here on the left. Let me click on that. And it's calling it scene 4. You can rename it. I'll just leave it for now. So now scene 4 has been added. I've just added a slide. Now there's different things you can add. If you go over here to click on the plus sign, there's all these things can be added. So there's audio, browser, color source, which is like a background color or block of color, display, screen capture, there's images, slideshows, different media sources, text, video capture, and window capture. Video capture would be your camera, window capture would be the different items, the different screens we have here. So I'm just going to, just for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to add a color source. So let's just put a background on the slide. So we're going to add a color source. We can choose one that's already existing from the other slides, which is really cool about OBS. You can just copy what you've done on other slides. You don't have to keep redoing it. I'm just going to say a new one, and you say OK. And so now you can pick your color. So You can pick a color in different ways here. I'm just going to pick a nice little mellow color. That's, oh yes, nice. Okay. But you can put in your own code here if you wanted to. And then that's all you have to do. So there's your background. And so that's sitting there, and that's a lovely little screen. Now, if you wanted just to box it, so just a boxed off area, a certain portion of your screen you just wanted to have, let's just say you want to have the whole screen covered. You could move that up and adjust that. So there's the whole screen covered. Now, if I wanted to add other items, let's say I want to add some text. I'm going to add a text, free type. And you can have some options here. You can choose from one that's pre-existing if you wanted to, but I'm just going to say a new one. And we can go in here and you can add your text in here. Hello. And you can change your font type. You can change your font size. You can change your font color. Let's just go for a perky color there. And so there's 2 tones, and let's just go for a nice deeper color there. So you have the 2 tones. You can add outlines, you can add drop. I'm just going to take outline off, and the drop shadow I'm not a fan, so I'm just going to leave that right there. So here you can adjust, as I was saying, you can adjust your font. You can change your font size and font options, and then you say okay, and you're going to pull that down. And again, this can be resized any way you like on the screen. And again, in studio mode, you can see how that's positioning. And so that's great. So now I'm going to add something else, and let's just add my video as I'm talking. So I'm just going to add my video capture device, which is me. And I'm just going to add the existing one I have right now, but you can just say new, whatever. And so this is me, and I'm going to minimize that rapidly. So I'm going to put it over here. I'm not a fan of how much space is on either side of my image. So to crop, it's very easy to do. You just highlight your image or whatever you're using, or video capture, and you just hit Option, Alt, just Option, and then you can drag it in, and you can cut away different things in the background if you wanted to. So you can crop things, and then when they're cropped, then you can resize them, and then you could move them around. And then the studio mode, that is what you'll be presenting. So I can talk. Now I can add monitors, I can add images, I can add graphics, I can add videos, I can add all sorts of things in here. And so when I'm done, I'm content with that. It's called Scene 4. So as I'm presenting, when I start to record, all I have to do is move through these slides. Now there are transitions you can adjust. You can just cut, a straight cut or a fade. You can also add transitions when you feel like it, so you can change your transitions down the road, but for now just switch it to a nice fades, easy. And then when you're in studio mode, you can see how it's going to transition. So right now I'm presenting that screen. If I wanted to go to screen 1, the transition is going to nicely fade. And see how the background changed from scene 4, because scene 4 has a different green background that we just put in. And then scene 2 will go back and it has its own different background. So basically in OBS you have total control. So the mic setting, you can see it fluctuating here. The fade, transitions, you can stream to YouTube, or you can stream to Facebook, or different options. But at least you can start recording. Just make sure when you're in your settings that you're recording for your output, you're recording MP4, and making sure you know where it's downloading to. I have mine set to my downloads, and I always make sure I record to MP4 because that's the easiest to work with. And Bob's your uncle, and that's all you have to do.